Welcome to the Sustainable Success Show, where we share real-world ideas, strategies, and systems to help you build success that lasts in business and life. Each episode delivers practical insights you can apply immediately without burnout, chaos, or short-term fixes that don't scale. At the foundation is emotional intelligence and effective communication, how you lead yourself and how you connect with others across personalities, generations, and cultures, because that's where trust, engagement, and performance are created. I'm Christopher Salem, your host, and this is where sustainable success becomes your competitive advantage. Welcome to Sustainable Success. Hope everyone is having a great week. We are so excited to have you here. If you're new to our show, we started with a new platform back in January. In terms of now we offer a video portion of the show, and the new format, we went from 60 minutes to 30 minutes in terms of content. Now, for some of you that have been with us for over almost 9 years now, I know some of you did love that 60-minute time frame because we could get into the weeds of the content. That being said, most of the people out there prefer 30 minutes. So that's what we're doing. And again, if you are new to our show, we are excited to have you here. And we are excited to always bring in subject matter experts, bringing their insights, experience to help elevate you and your level of success to the next level, whether if it's your business or you on a personal level. Our show is being brought to you today by Alumni Direct. Alumni Direct is a social media community platform dedicated to bringing alumni together from all different generational types and an opportunity to meet new people for the first time. Now, it is a membership program taking out all the noise out of social media. You get to generate genuine and authentic relationships with the people you choose to interact with. If you'd like some more information about Alumni Direct, check them out at alumnidirect.com. That's alumnidirect.com. We also want to encourage any new listeners that are here, follow us here. You can follow us now on Apple, YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, and also iHeart. So now there is 5 areas that you could subscribe to listen to this show. And the video portion of the show, of course, is on YouTube. So we encourage you to subscribe to the YouTube channel at Christopher R. Salem. That's Christopher R. Salem at Christopher R. Salem. And that way, that each week you can watch the video or go to Apple, Spotify, iHeart, Amazon Music, whatever you prefer to all listen to the audio version. We also encourage you to follow us on our Facebook group at Sustainable Success 2017. That's when we started the show back in May of 2017. And you can follow us there and capture all the weekly episodes that we've had over that time period. We had almost over 500 episodes that we've done with this show. It's hard to believe. So feel free to take advantage of that. Well, I'm so excited to have what we're going to be talking about today. This is a gentleman that has been on this show not once, but a few times. So you can definitely check out some of the past episodes that we had on our old format. We're going to be talking about executives are failing. Now, we don't want you to take that in a negative way, but a positive way. And we're going to talk about what we can do from what we're learning, what's not working, to what we can do. And we're going to be here with Phil Johnson. And Phil is someone I truly admire and respect, someone that has immersed himself in his entire career into emotional intelligence. He is a leadership and emotional intelligence coach with over 25 years experience helping executives, founders, and organizations lead with clarity, trust, and presence. As founder and CEO of Master of Business Leadership Academy, he specializes in developing emotionally steady leaders who perform under pressure and succeed in today's trust economy. And all of Phil's contact information you're going to have not only here in the show notes, but also Phil will be giving you some additional information on the tail end of the show. And without further ado, we welcome Phil Johnson to the show. Phil, how you doing today?
Great, Chris. Good to see you again.
Great to have you here. You are like when it comes to emotional intelligence, I always say, Phil's the first guy I'm going to, because you've been involved in EQ before even people knew what EQ was. And for those, that are out there, I'm sure a lot of people have heard the term and maybe have their, perception or perspective on what that is. But let's talk about what emotional intelligence is and what it means to leaders, especially from the business world and how we're leading. And then like, based on the title, executives are failing. Let's just talk about that, like just to get a kind of a scope around that you can kind of then get into the conversation of what are some of the things that we can be doing different at leaders to evolve our EQ, and then what would be the byproduct of that.
Sure. Um, as everyone knows, we're facing rapidly accelerating challenges, and those are going to continue and, as I say, increase. And it's causing us increasingly to react rather than respond to those challenges. And that's really where we're falling down. Not just as executives, all of us. Um, we've never had the training, the awareness to be able to feel the fear and anxiety that change triggers in us, both biologically and sociologically. Um, so we're increasingly reacting in what psychologists often refer to as an amygdala hijack, where we go into unconscious fight, flight, or freeze mode. And that's causing us to burn trust, and it just creates higher levels of disengagement. And it's really affecting our bottom line and our top line within organizations. So, really, we have to evolve to be able to deal with the challenges we're facing, and the direction of that evolution. The next stage in quite frankly, our human evolution is the development of our emotional intelligence. And I just want to kind of echo something you said there at the beginning, um, that most people probably aren't aware of, that the development of emotional intelligence is an experiential process. It's not an intellectual process. Now, what that means is that it is impossible to develop emotional intelligence by reading a book or watching a video or having a conversation like this, because these are all intellectual processes. Um, and the development of emotional intelligence is not intellectual, it's experiential. Um, so you can only really understand and appreciate the value and importance of emotional intelligence by being in the process of developing it, and the outcomes of doing. And I want to be clear that the development of emotional intelligence is extremely difficult. It requires a lot of what I refer to as emotional labor, usually driven by an urgent desire for better results. But as you go through this process, as you go through this experiential process, there's a number of outcomes, great outcomes, that begin to occur simultaneously. And just let me explain what they are briefly. You become a more inspirational leader. Um, you become more emotionally intelligent. You become more aware, more conscious of what's going on in you and around you, which helps to separate you from your ego-based fears. And that leads to higher levels of trust and engagement. And it guarantees career, personal, and business success. And I've been proving that all over the world for the last over 25 years.
I love it. I know you've been doing so much work. As leaders, like you said, we have so much uncertainty around us, so many things that are beyond our control, things that are happening in the world right now, with all the things, that we see around us. We don't even have to even explain what those are, but there's so many things happening. And but we get caught up in the control we can't control, and instead of focusing on what we can control, and that's you as an individual, and that's where emotional intelligence starts. What can leaders be doing now to kind of, instead of getting caught up in the control they can't control and reacting, how they can now go within to be more intentional rather than reactive, but more proactive from intentions, and trust that process moving forward, and how they interact with people, situations. In this case, it can be difficult as well. Like, how we handle difficult people, difficult situations. What would you share from your experience?
What I'm going to describe, great question. What I'm going to describe in the next 3 or 4 minutes um, involves energy physics. And I'm going to explain how it's the root cause and solution to everything. Now, that's a mouthful. All drama, chaos, and conflict. And I'll give you an example. I'll give you a couple of examples of what I'm about to say. We're only actually conscious about 3 to 5% of the time. The rest of the time, we're relying on our habits to determine the bulk of our behavior and our results.
Yeah.
But when we're born, we're not born with a conscious mind. We don't start to become conscious until we're about a year old, but we are born with an unconscious mind. And we immediately start wiring up our brain, creating those neural network pathways that become the habits we need to survive. And a lot of those habits cause us to unconsciously give away our energy. And we do it in lots of different ways, in how we communicate, how we listen, take responsibility, make decisions, all sorts of ways. But when we're doing that, it creates an energy deficit in us. So at the same time, we're unconsciously giving away our energy. We need to be replacing that energy by stealing it from others, often using some type of position-based power to control, manipulate. And that dynamic is going on inside of everyone, everywhere, all over the world, all the time, unconsciously. So what I do in the MBL program is I show people how they're unconsciously giving away their energy, and I give them better habits to practice to stop doing that. And when they stop giving away their energy, their need to steal the energy of other people goes away because they don't need it. And the results are the things that I mentioned just previously. So let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. One of the MBL habits is called authentic listening. And the key to authentic listening is not to take anything personally. If how somebody feels about you has nothing to do with you. It has to do with what's going on inside of them. But
Absolutely.
if how you feel about yourself is based on how anybody else feels about you, who's running your life, you or them? Well, it's them, right? And as crazy as that's, it's like, if you like me, I like me. If you don't like me, I don't like me. And as crazy as that sounds, what I've just described is all of social media. We bend over backwards to get people to like us so we can feel better about ourselves. But you see,
Validation, right?
yeah. But you see, the thing is, when we're giving away our energy in that way, this is really important to understand. When we're giving away our energy in that way, it also creates the simultaneous need to be replacing that energy by stealing it from others.
Mm.
And that is the root cause of all of the toxicity we see within organizations. Current level of employee engagement worldwide, according to Gallup, is about 21%. Low levels of employee engagement are costing the global economy over $9 trillion every year. So it's a massive problem. And see, the thing is, we've never been trained. Our educational system has failed us, and our employment system has failed us because it's focused primarily on our ability to do intellectual labor and has done nothing to develop our emotional intelligence. So we're facing a future, quite frankly, that we're completely unprepared for.
I Phil, you just nailed it on the head. I mean, it is in essence the root cause to all the problems we have. Now, problems are going to, sometimes can be a good thing because they can lead us to seeing things differently, to now turn it into an opportunity to resolve. But like you said, that miscommunication or lack of communication, what people don't realize is that they can't go back and see that is what's causing all these issues with job retention, or a lack of performance, or people churning, where people are leaving the workplace. And whatever it may be, like they can't like put two and two together, that if they just address that, they can build a stronger foundation to now increase their batting average. I like to use sports analogy. If I can increase my batting average, that's going to reflect in my numbers. And they just don't put two and two together.
Chris, you're bringing up a great, great point. And the point is that as we're giving away our energy, we're becoming more resistive, more judgmental, and more attached to outcome. And that blinds us to being able to see the reality of what's actually happening within us and around us. So this process always requires an initial leap of faith, because you can only connect the dots in hindsight after you've taken the leap of faith. Well, and I want to get to something here. A second, two things actually, if I can remember them. Um, uh,
Good job.
People going through the program invariably, and most of my people I work with are executives. They're going through and they go, "This is amazing. This is incredible. I can't believe I didn't know this." As their level of awareness increases about what's going on in them and around them. And I often ask them the question, I said, I want you to think about something here. Is there anything I could have said to you in the beginning, before you started down this path, that could have prepared you for what you know now? They think about it. And the answer is always no. There's nothing you could have told me. There's nothing you could have said to me that could have helped me to understand what I understand now. And see, that's the difference between knowing something intellectually and knowing something experientially. If what you know isn't reflected in what you do, you don't really know it. You just think you know it. If what you know isn't reflected in your behavior, you don't really know it.
Oh, I love that. And it's so true. Like, like what you're just sharing here. I just wish, that, there was more you could duplicate yourself, Phil, like, where they can just say, hey, just this doesn't happen overnight, but just individuals practicing this over time, when they start to now, improve their communication to themselves, and start to kind of raise their vibrational energy, somehow that's going to come across to other people through, even whether they know it consciously or not. It's going to come across and rub off them in a good way. And then if that person now is aware, they can be more resourceful to help people help themselves in this area.
It's called emotional contagion. And I don't want to nerd out here too much, but because we've evolved over hundreds of millions of years from tribes, groups, we've had to develop the ability to sense whether somebody's trying to help us or eat us. So we have these specialized brain cells in our prefrontal cortex called mirror neurons. Our viewers can Google it. That's why you can walk into a room and sense the energy in the room, or you're having a conversation with somebody, you can sense the level of trust, whether they're trying to help you or hurt you. And I'm going to give you a big example of that shortly. So as you learn to stop giving away your energy, as you develop these habits, people around you automatically begin to sense that they can lower their walls. And that's what leads to inspirational leadership. So let me give you an example of a company that's currently valued at about $4 trillion, and they're doing about $500 billion a year in revenue. And their entire hiring focus is on emotional intelligence. That company is Apple. That's why when you walk into an Apple store, the energy you feel is an example of a more emotionally intelligent environment. They're not trying to sell you anything. They're trying to understand your pain and, if possible, offer a potential solution to your pain. They want you to have a great experience, and maybe you'll tell your friends and they'll tell their friends. And if you think about it, the level of engagement, the way you feel in that environment is very different from the energy coming out of the stores surrounding that environment. So that represents the future of individual and organizational change. That's essential. That's essential for us to be able to deal with the tsunami of challenges we're facing.
Oh, you're so true. I mean, you think about the power of EQ as a foundation, how it could be transformative, not only within the organization, but how it reflects outward to create better experiences in terms of customer retention, upsells. Because, like you said, people don't want to be sold. They want to buy, and not everybody is going. Not everybody's challenge is great enough at that point. But when you can share versus tell, and you can influence and empower them to see their challenge, maybe the challenge is more than they originally thought.
Yeah.
Now when you start asking more questions and they start asking, what can I do to make that better to get these results, and now you're sharing that, they're selling themselves. Now they want to buy.
You bring up another great point. Um, all purchasing decisions are made in the limbic, our emotional decisions. They're made in the part of our brain called the limbic system. So after we've decided emotionally whether we can trust the person or the organization we want to work with them, then we look for features and benefits intellectually to justify the decision we've already made emotionally. So for anybody trying to bring a product or service to the marketplace, the development of our emotional intelligence is essential to their success because purchasing decisions are emotional decisions first.
Yeah. So true. It's so true. And I love that you bring it up. And I hope, listeners, that you are really letting this sink in, because this is so important. Not even if you're not in sales, if you're looking to just create better rapport and trust with your peers in your department, or in other departments, whether if you're caring for patients, or you're, in this case, you're in customer service and you're looking to serve the client better. It's not necessarily, again, always pertaining to your product. It's the bigger picture, what Phil's talking about, really aligning with that emotional, what is now keeping them up, or maybe they're not even sure themselves, but you've helped to trigger that inside of them.
Yeah.
Powerful information, Phil.
Couple of things. Using what I'm talking about, we helped one company in Greece, actually in the shipping industry, increase the revenue last year by $55 million. What I'm describing here, helped that company just in actually less than a year increase their revenue by over $55 million. And actually, they were able to cut costs by over $500,000. But the only reason I'm bringing that up is I want to make the connection between developing our emotional intelligence and tangible, hard, repeatable results, because that's what tends to get people's attention. The other thing I want to mention is motivation to do this work, to develop emotional intelligence. The primary source of the motivation to take the leap of faith and go down this path is an urgent desire for better results, i.e., pain. So lots of people want better results than they're currently getting in some aspect of their life or their business. But if they don't have the motivation to do the work that getting better results requires, they simply will find a reason not to move forward. Can't help those people. It's something I say, I call it like ROI, I call it COI, the cost of inaction. The cost of inaction is you get to keep your pain. It's like going to the dentist. When you're in enough pain, you'll say, hey,
I'll go get that filling.
whatever it takes, right? Just get rid of the pain. The biggest challenge we're facing is because the rate of change is increasing so rapidly that unless we're proactive in developing our emotional intelligence, by the time we're in that level of pain, it may be too late as an individual or as an organization. So we really need to take the leap of faith of developing our emotional intelligence as individuals and as organizations. The ROI is massive, but it's not easy. And let me give you Let me give you an example of the ROI. I often use an analogy of penny doubling. Day one, you've got a penny. Day two, you've got two pennies. Day 31, you've got $10.7 million. Day 30, you've got over 5 trillion. Day 40, you've got over 5 billion. The point is that as you develop your emotional intelligence, the results increase exponentially, not linearly, exponentially.
Huge. It is definitely huge. This is, I mean, God, I wish that we had an hour to do this show because there's so much more, and we're gonna definitely have you on. Before I wanted to, because we're getting near the end of the show, and I want to make sure the audience gets to know you. But before we do, I'd like you to just kind of leave the audience and those listening later with like a call of action. Like it could be 30, 45 seconds, just something high impact that's going to really tie everything you shared here today to take for them to take that first step.
Okay, here goes. Um, we're at a tipping point as a species on the planet. It's estimated that in this century, we're going to experience the equivalent of 20,000 years worth of change or 200 centuries worth of change. To put that in perspective, a 10-year-old today, by the time they're 60, will be experiencing roughly a year's worth of change in a week and a half. We are absolutely unprepared for the future we're facing. And the only thing we can do to be able to navigate the challenges we're going to be facing is learn to not react and respond. And that requires the development of our emotional intelligence. So the development of our emotional intelligence is not only the next stage in our human evolution, it's essential for our survival as a species.
Wow. Everybody, I hope everybody has gotten value. I would encourage everyone to go back and listen to this show in its entirety. If you're a visual person, go to the YouTube channel to watch it on YouTube. Listen to it in the car on Apple or Spotify, Amazon Music, or iHeart, whatever you prefer. This was a powerful episode, and we're going to make sure we have Phil on for a future show. Phil, I want to thank you personally for taking the time to be with us here today. How can the audience get in touch with you? What are you up to, and anything that you would like to provide them?
Well, they can reach me through my Zoom calendar. I don't know. I think I might have given that to you.
Yeah, so
Or
and all
through,
that stuff will be in the show notes.
yeah, yeah. Always looking to help people that want to be helped, help organizations that want better results than they're currently getting and are sick and tired of being sick and tired.
So, and I can attest that Phil is not about managing problems. He's about getting to the root cause of them, and emotional intelligence is the source to do that on the individual, team, and organizational levels. And it's got to start with you. So powerful. We encourage everyone to reach out to Phil, connect with him on LinkedIn. All his contact information, including his Zoom calendar link, all of that will be here in the show notes. Again, make sure you take advantage of that and reach out to him. He is a wealth of information, somebody I've known for quite some time. Phil, thank you so much, and everybody here at the Sustainable Success team for taking time to be with us here today.
Thanks, Chris. Good to see you again.
Good to see you. And listeners, we want to thank you each and every week joining us here at Sustainable Success. We are committed each and every week bringing in subject matter experts like Phil to share their insights, personal experience, and insights that are going to help elevate you and your business to the next level. Again, reach out to our team here at chris@sustainablesuccess.net. If there is any content that you would like to see on a future show, we'll make sure we look into that for you. We are all about accommodating and aligning content that has substance and true meaning that's going to move you and your business to the next level. We don't do anything surfaced or anything to manage the problem here at Sustainable Success. If that's the case, we're not the show for you. But if you're looking for results, you're looking for solutions to challenges, turning challenges into opportunities, well, you're in the right place. And that's what we're going to do by bringing in subject matter experts each and every week to help you do that. Till then, everybody, have a great rest of your week. And we'll see you next week, next Friday at 12 noon East Coast time, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Till then, have a great day. Take care.